Hi everyone, hope you had a fabulous and stylish week. Now what else would you all be here for if it weren't for the best updates on Israeli fashion, culture, and lifestyle? So I'm here to give you just that. Today's show is going to be insane. We have some of the coolest people in Tel Aviv joining me today in the studio, and you won't want to miss a single second. So to kick off today's show, joining me in the studio today is a man who doesn't just specialize in photography, he does everything under the sun when it comes to the fashion industry, videography, editorials, campaigns, fashion art, and his portfolio speaks for itself. But why listen to me? I'll let him tell you all about it. Eyad Aslaf, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy that you're here in the studio. I want everybody to hear all about you. So why don't we get started on how you got started in photography?
Since I was a boy, I was drawn to photography, music, and art. Actually, before I became a fashion photographer, I had a music and post-production company.
Okay.
Then, when I was 23, I really realized that I need to take my passion and do something with it. The thing that happened is, I was producing a project that involves still photography, so I booked a fashion photographer for the job. During one of the breaks, the model and I finished eating before everyone else. And like, I don't eat that much as you can see.
He's a skinny guy, people.
And we decided to take the camera and go have some fun.
Right.
In the end, the client chose the picture that I shoot instead of the picture that
you hired a photographer.
Yeah.
During your lunch break, you were taking just joking camera photos and stuff like that. Wow.
This was the moment that I really realized that I need to buy my first professional camera and to like really do something with it.
Right. So what field, I mean, I know you're considered the TLV fashion photographer, right?
Yeah.
So you're clearly doing fashion, but was it always fashion or did you have a passion just for photography in general?
I have a passion for photography in general. I have a huge passion for video.
Right.
Like my dream it's like one of my dream. Like
right.
I'm pursuing my dream. I'm on the way to this dream.
You're on the right path. You're on the right path to go into your dream. So you guys, so you feel like fashion is really your niche?
Fashion is really my niche. I'm doing fashion because I like I like the production. I like the thing that you can do things on a set and like you build everything, you make everything, but it is small, tiny piece of moment that only this moment speak fashion.
Right.
Like everyone can take a camera and shoot and bring a model and bring everything, but you gotta speak in the language of fashion to be a fashion photographer.
How did you get, you said you started from music production, and then it kind of just happened with the photography. So you're talking about a language in fashion. Where did you learn that language?
I don't know, I just...
You're like, I was born with this.
Probably. I was taking it all my life. Like, I like things, my personality, I'm very, how you say it, I'm OCD.
Right.
And I'm perfection, like I'm pursuing perfection in everything.
Right.
This is like fashion.
It's pretty much fashion. Well, it could be both ways.
I'm innovative, so it's fashion also. I like to be, fashion, I think that the way you dress and the way you speak with the dress is like the ways your personality speaks to, it's like, it's the same.
Right.
And everyone like want to be the high.
Of course.
Everyone
wants to be the best.
As high as they can.
Yeah.
And also the fashion, like I want to be in the high fashion that I can, So actually in my work, in what I'm doing to create this kind of things, of production, of themes, of visions of things, to take the vision of the designer and to take my vision as a photographer and to take the vision of the stylist and to create with combination of all of us, three of us, something that is unique and like no one else can make this thing because we are doing exactly what we needed to do.
Right. So what are some challenges that you've faced, here in Israel, specifically being a fashion photographer? Because, fashion isn't the #1 thing Israel is known for. So what are some challenges that you've faced?
Do you really talk about it?
Yeah.
3 things. There's budget.
3 things, but we don't need to talk about it.
There's budget, mentality. No, it's things that I really don't like to talk about it because it's, how you say it, it's something that we must change in Israel.
Right, exactly.
We are very, very innovative in lots of stuff, and I think in fashion we are like seasons behind from the world.
This unfortunately we are.
This is number one. Number two is like budget. Because of we are behind, the budget is keep going slow.
And they don't understand the budget that's necessary to make these productions, to make them on a global scale and an international scale.
To make it on, it's not about global scale, it's about professional scale.
Right, exactly, that's what I'm saying, exactly. So a professionality that they don't understand here because it hasn't really come to us. So where can people...
Some of them, there are some people that very innovated in Israel.
Of course, yeah.
I just want that the designer will be more connected to the fashion world outside, like the real fashion world.
Right.
And then we could, they can put us on the map, like.
Definitely.
The photographers also, but it's more the designers.
The designers. So where can people find you? Where can people, you know, check your work out, check out your portfolio, or even...
First of all over my social media, like Facebook, Instagram, my website.
Yeah.
I also have my manager, my studio manager, Ola Mikhailov. You can book through her.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I'm sure we're going to be seeing your work. Tel Aviv Fashion Week is coming up, fashion, photography, you know. I'm sure we'll see you. Now, I already follow him on all social media platforms and trust you won't be disappointed when you do the same, so better get to it. Tel Aviv Fashion Week is coming up, and who better to follow along than the TLV fashion photographer? So I've been following along the Vibe Israel nonprofit organization for months now and wanted them to come in and explain to you about the creative and positive ways they share Israel's story through online influencers. So with me today is the founder and CEO of Vibe Israel, Joanna Landau. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So why don't you tell everybody what Vibe Israel is and what the main mission is, what the main goal is?
So Vibe Israel is a nonprofit organization, but we're really part of a school of thought that countries around the world have global reputations, and those reputations need to be managed. Most countries have a whole process, there's a strategy, and they put it in place in order to connect people to them. Israel, unfortunately, is not quite going in that direction.
Their nation branding is a little off.
Well, it's actually just very, very, very narrow. It's talking mostly about the conflict.
Right.
And it's trying to explain Israel. And I believe that Israel doesn't need to be explained. It needs to be actually exposed. The culture, the business, everything that's really interesting, particularly for the millennial generation, with whom Israel is not really having a conversation.
Right.
And so I established the organization about 8 years ago in order to promote Israel directly through social media to the millennial generation that by 2025 are going to represent 75% of the global workforce. So it's pretty much everyone.
So it's pretty much you're going through the right target audience that you guys are going to eventually, you know, lead up to being the ones that are going to control everything, the ones that are going to influence everything, you know.
We hope so.
We would like to think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, a lot of millennials aren't really interested in hearing about the conflict. They're not, you know, they're looking for a fun way to kind of experience a new country, and you guys are doing that through tours, right?
Right.
So what are some tours, some examples of tours that you guys have done?
So we're doing it basically by bringing people to Israel. So it's tours, it's events that are taking place in Israel, it's campaigns that we do, social media campaigns, but it always has an offline element. We do 8 tours a year that focus on different topics of interest that have very large online communities. Most recent tour that we just did was on the topic of beauty.
Right, the Vibe Beauty, right?
Right.
So what does that look like for people that don't know?
So basically what we do is we decide on a topic that we feel Israel has an interesting story to tell. We're not necessarily global leaders in it, but we certainly have something exciting to tell. We have a message about Israel, which is that it represents creative energy, creativity, innovation, multiculturalism. The different types of people that are in Israel are very, very interesting on a global scale. And so we just put into Google, open source, top 50, top 100 influencers in the field of beauty.
Okay.
And then we look for bloggers, Instagrammers, YouTubers, podcasters, anybody who is doing something interesting online that has a very large online following.
Can they reach out to you?
They have, yeah. We do have people reaching out to us.
I'm sure a lot of influencers, first of all, around the world are super interested in coming to visit Israel, let alone if, you know, if you're already doing a beauty tour around Israel, that they would be, you know, relevant.
I would say that we're not yet at the point that they're super interested in coming to visit Israel.
Okay.
We kind of almost introduced Israel to them. They know Israel in a kind of place somewhere in their mind that is associated with bad news. But there's Jerusalem, there's Tel Aviv, there's certain other aspects of Israel that are very exciting and are very interesting. Gal Gadot, as an example, is making great branding for Israel.
She is.
My one hope is that the Israeli government doesn't ask her to become a brand ambassador, because
actually,
she is perfect as
you're doing what you're doing in the right way. Keep doing it.
Don't touch it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so, yeah, so we reach out, we send invitations to about 70 or 80 different influencers, and we invite them to come on a week-long, all-expenses-paid trip of Israel, which is all, yes, all expenses paid. We don't pay them an appearance fee, but we do pay for everything else. Otherwise, why should they come?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just saying, wait, pause. That's awesome.
Okay, we'll let other countries know that you
I was
would like to
I
come.
think this is really cool. Yeah. So you guys are paying for everything, kind of just giving them the experience of Israel.
Yeah.
A type of birthright, if you will.
It's kind of like birthright, but it's not a cookie cutter.
Right.
And it's not for Jews. I mean, it is for Jews. If you are a Jewish influencer and you have a lot of followers, we will not say no.
Okay, of course, yeah.
But our main impact, mainly because we feel that when somebody non-Jewish says something positive about Israel, that impacts the Jews as well, but the other way around doesn't necessarily impact the non-Jews.
Right, because it seems a little biased, and we get it.
Exactly.
You guys are Jewish, you love the Holy Land, like we get it.
So we create, and we don't actually create content, we curate content. We believe that Israel really has everything, and that we can pick and choose the really most exciting things that we feel will create content for them to write about and to share with their community.
Right. So where can people find you? Where can they look at your videos, look up your tours?
So we're on vibeisrael.com.
Okay.
We are also on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, everywhere we need to be, because we're in the social media world.
Right.
But
you guys have attacked all the social media platforms.
Pretty much, yeah. We're waiting for the next ones.
Yes.
We're waiting to see what they're all about.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Joanna, for coming in. I'm sure so many people are going to be very interested in looking at Vibe Israel, and that's part of the plan, no?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. So whether you're a social media influencer looking to get involved or want to see and learn more about the Holy Land, make sure to check out the Vibe Israel Facebook page and website for all the details. So if you guys haven't figured this out already, I'm a pretty big fashion fiend. And when I say that, I mean I'm constantly looking out for the latest trends, hottest designers, and best qualities. But at the same time, you can't forget the name brands that started this industry in the first place. So joining me now in the studio is the owner of the leading online store offering luxury pre-owned designer items, Aya Ashkenazi.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
So why don't you tell everybody how you really got started in the fashion world?
Okay, so from when I was young, I love to buy clothes, and I all the time get compliment from my best friend, where you buy, how I can buy, I want to buy. And then I tell to myself, okay, if I get a compliment, so I need to do with this something.
You're doing something right if you're getting all these compliments.
Yes.
So how did you decide from that to open up the store? Ayushka.
Ayushka, yes. Ayushka is an online designer, like that you buy there, the Chanel, Yves Saint Laurent, Gucci, Prada, Fendi. You can get the stuff like 80% off.
Wow.
Yes, and also you can get stuff that sold out.
So what about the items that you guys have? How do you guys get these pre-owned items? Where are they coming from?
Okay, so I have a lot of women that bring me and I sell them. They are like, you know, shopaholic. They are buy like, wow, you don't believe. I get like something like 1,000 shoes, something crazy, you don't believe.
Wow.
And then I sell the stuff, some from the stuff, you know, that are used, and some new that never worn.
Will never be worn, yeah.
Yes. Also, I buy, do the styling.
So you also do the styling.
Yes,
so
I also buy.
Yeah, so there's sections on your website where you're kind of, you know, curating like outfits and stuff like that. Do you consider yourself a stylist? Do you like styling?
Yeah, I like the styling. I like to do styling. Also, you can see in the picture, I do the styling in the website, on the model, in the Instagram. Also, you can go to the Instagram to see Ayushka.
Right.
And something that we don't have in Israel, we have it in UK, you have it in the United States. All this website in Israel, we don't have it. So it's something new, and the Israeli love it.
Right, because Israelis are really, you know, big fans of international fashion. And very big spenders. When they can, they will. So they're always looking, you know, for the brand names. We talked about this before, Gucci, Fendi, Chanel, everything. They want to be, you know, in trend with the fashion here because the fashion world is so difficult here.
Yes, it's difficult.
So what about styling? Can people come to you as a stylist separately?
Yes.
So
I
they
do
can.
also styling, and they can come separate. I also, you can see, I wearing a dress celeb.
For events and
yes.
for TV shows and things like that.
Yes. And also, you know, why to buy in Ayuchka and not to buy, you know, in website in USA, because when you buy in a website in USA, so you pay in Israel tax, you pay shipping, so it's a lot of money. In my website, you don't need to pay shipping; it's free for all over the world.
Also, free international shipping. Yes. Wow, that's huge.
Yes, and for the Israeli people also, it's good because you can do payment. If if I buy in, let's say, you know, all the big website in USA, it's a
one-time payment of God knows how much money.
Yes.
So everybody needs to go to Ayuchka to get the best brands, the best prices, free international shipping. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you. All right. I think this was pretty obvious already, but make sure to go check out the Ayuchka website. I mean, literally, you'd be doing yourself a favor, but don't blame me if you end up spending your entire savings on everything on the site, because it's pretty amazing. Okay, well, last but most definitely not least, we have one of my favorite people with me in the studio today to talk all the ins and outs of Tel Aviv Fashion Week, the babe herself, Noa Bonet.
Hi. Wow, that's such a great
intro, right?
Yeah, I
so
like
we're here talking about Tel Aviv Fashion Week.
Yes.
Tell me what I need to know.
Don't get excited. No, I'm joking, I'm joking.
It's true, it's true. We heard some things, you know, about fashion here in Israel. I'm really excited to see what's going on this year.
So basically, the latest news about the Fashion Week is the fact that it's now commercialized. I mean, this just commercial partnerships. No, you know, like organic, catwalks.
Right.
We don't have that anymore, and it happens again at the Gindi Mall, which is Israel's fashion mall.
Huge fashion
Yeah,
mall.
this is like it's branded like the fashion mall of Israel. So it's going to happen there. And we talked about before the broadcast about the fact that like 2 years ago and last year it was like between working on the mall, there was this thing like construction works.
Exactly. Well, the whole, I think, mall itself is also a residential area. They're building also buildings for, you know, apartments and stuff like that. But what I thought was weird was that, and I guess I didn't realize that that was the concept. The last year when we did go, the mall wasn't finished.
Yes.
That was the concept. That was meant to be like that.
Yeah, the grand opening was like, I think, late 2017.
And Fashion Week was in March of last year, so what was going on?
It was like a little bit between. Like 2 years ago, the whole concept was, oh, look, it's like a construction, you know?
Like we're doing a Fashion Week in under construction
Yeah,
mall.
and it was like, it was cool in a way, and then like they had a progress with the entire like building of it, and then it was like just not finished.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird.
It was a little weird last year.
Yeah, and you know, there's something about the Israeli Fashion Week when you see abroad what we have, and you see all the like cool outfits that the guests have, and stuff like that. In Israel, they made it like a little bit like red carpet-y.
Okay.
Like something a little bit weirder, like the entire vibe. Like I talked with a reporter that came from abroad, and she was like, you treat it like it's an Oscar.
Yeah.
And it's a fashion show.
Which is funny because usually in Israel, everything is kept more casual. It's kept more low-key. You know, nobody, you know, goes all out. Well, in my opinion, I feel like when I went there was two different types of people that you saw on the red carpet. There were those that were wearing jeans and white sneakers, and then there was those that were wearing wedding gowns as dresses with like 9-inch heels. Yeah. So what can you tell us a little bit, you know, you've looked into Fashion Week, New York, London, and stuff like that. What are some differences that you see, I guess, fashion-wise?
First of all, on Fashion Week, there's like this casual but really fashionable, cool, like dress code.
Right.
So you can see like everybody kind of looks the same, but really different in some ways. So like, it's very streetwear. It's very like, oh, I'm going to a fashion show and then we're gonna go to this cafe.
Right, we're gonna go to lunch afterwards or brunch.
Yes, this is the vibe. Going to brunch. Yeah. Like Israelis, just like think about that. You're going to brunch after the show.
So you're not gonna wear a wedding gown to brunch.
Yes, cool sneakers, cool like shoes, not heels at all.
Right.
So in Israel, I think because we kind of knew in the whole fashion week thingy.
Right.
So it's like people don't know how to dress. People don't know the cultural thing about.
They're confused a little bit.
Yes. Also, we can't do what they do in the all the fashion week. They had the Gucci fashion show. They had the heads, and you had the one with the drones that was 2 days ago.
Like, where is that happening here? You don't see stuff like that here in Israel.
Budget.
Right, and that's funny. We were talking recently, right now, to Eyal Aslaf, the fashion photographer, and he was saying that was one of the struggles that he has being a fashion photographer, is that we don't have the budget because people don't, fashion here in Israel isn't considered high-end, so people don't, want to pay for it. They don't realize that that's the direction of going in there.
So think about that because we have this thing that we don't think that Israeli things are good unless they are successful abroad.
Exactly.
So much like Alon Livne and designers like that. So, most of the fashion designers in Israel, they have a struggle. Like, their struggle is real to maintain an industry that actually works. So, all the clothes are really, really expensive because they made them by themselves in Israel. In Israel.
Right.
And then, Israelis don't want to buy Israeli designers.
Which I think is literally part of the reason that this show is happening. It's supporting Israeli designers. It's supporting manufacturing designs here in Israel. It's all white and blue. But people aren't responding to it. People don't respond to it. They're anti-wearing Israeli designers.
Because there's, there's also, like, you can see, like, I can give you names, like, more of a, there's Petit Doris by Doreen Matias, but she was a celebrity before. So, and there's Bar Marom with Brenda, that she has, like, high-end clothes, but she was a model before. So you have to, if you want to make a successful brand, you need to have this kind of, you need to be well known to do that. So the public can say, oh, he knows what he's doing. She knows what she's doing.
We trust them. They have credibility. We know that they're good at A, B, and C. So I can trust their style in in making a design and making a brand, and then that's how it goes from there.
Yes, but think about it also. I mentioned it at first that the Israeli Fashion Week was commercialized. It means it's only commercial partnerships. It means like big companies and big brands take the designers and just like mash it up. Yeah, collaborating for a fashion show. So it's like, in one hand, it's good because it gives budget, as we said.
Of course.
But it's kind of, there's a lack of authenticity.
And originality.
Yes.
And like you said, it's not organic. But we will be talking more about this next week, and I can't wait to have you back on the show. Thank you so much for talking TLV Gindi Fashion Week with me, babe. Thank you. All right, guys, well, clearly, like I promised, Noah will be back on the show to discuss the hottest updates both in Israel and internationally. And next week, she'll be here to talk Oscars red carpet, because what's an award show without some kind of scandal to discuss? That's all the time we have for today's show. Thanks to all our guests who came into the studio today, and to all you viewers who missed even a second of the show. Check us out on iltv.tv/IsraelInStyle. Have a stylish and fabulous week.